Hey, it's Joe Satriani. Here I am on tour, on the Wormhole Wizards tour, and I'm going to show you my guitars. This guitar here was one of the prototypes for the JS2400. Beautiful guitar. It's orange. I had this idea that we could have a Hugger orange guitar, sort of after that 73 Camaro that I saw across the street from Sammy's studio last year. It wound up looking a little bit like Candy Corn or Pumpkin or something like that, so we thought, maybe not so much. But it's made out of alder wood, which is different from the usual JS guitars, and it's got a very small Babinga stripe in the back. Gives it a bit more upper mid-range maybe. I'm not quite sure about it yet. I think it's one of those things where you can feel it, but the audience may not hear it. So it's my second favorite guitar. My main guitar though is this one right over here. Thank you, Mike Manning. This one here is your production JS2400 in white. It's basswood, so it's got more of a musical tone to it. Overall, great sounding guitar, and I've been using this thing like crazy. I love it. The combination of the pickups is fantastic, and of course it's got all the little groovy things, including this little piece of white tape, so I remember exactly where some of the songs' levels should be, volume level. Very important for the melodies and stuff like that. Anyway, we want to show you this other guitar right here. We use for a number of songs. This, of course, is the JS1200. This beautiful candy apple red color. But it's got a Sustainiac pickup in here, so I use that for Wind in the Trees. And what else do we use this for? The song Why, and I think I played Littleworth Lane on this one, and maybe a few other songs like that. Since the set list was stolen last night, I've forgotten what songs I use it on. Anyway, love this guitar, and I'm really getting into this Sustainiac pickup. We also play the JSA acoustic during the set, and Mike's bringing it out right now. Here it is. It's amazing how quickly we get these guitars out. It's fantastic. This we use for Andalusia, and it's just a beautiful sounding acoustic guitar. Of course, it's plugged in when we do the stuff live, and this is great. I just love the color. It's my favorite color. You know, it's a great sounding guitar, and it plays like butter, as we used to say back in New York. Like butter. Wherever you play it, it's like butter. And it sounds like $1,000,000. Anyway, those are the guitars, and next I'm going to show you the pedals and the amps. See you there. Hey, here we are looking at my pedal board. So come on down here, and it all starts right over here with the big bad wah. And most of the tunes I'm playing it like this. In this setting, wah 1, I use wah 2 for Wind in the Trees to get that big throaty sound. I've got the voicing down on the lower setting there. This pedal board now is designed to give me a number of different options. I've got the Voodoo Lab Pro Octavia there, and what am I using that for this time? I think I'm using that for Crystal Planet. I've got a little Boss Super Chorus there, and I think that's also for Crystal Planet, and maybe the very end of Wind in the Trees. The Voodoo Vibe, great sounding little box, and I'm using that for Pyrrhic Victoria. It's got that groovy little solo in there. Of course, you see the Einstein Overdrive and the Saturator and the Time Machines. Those are pretty self-explanatory. And then right here, it's the Marshall, and I got to explain all these tapes. This is basically the 6-banger foot pedal that controls all the different channels and modes of the JVM 410. And I've got all these little pieces of tape here because we keep changing the settings because these are prototype amps that have been modified for me by Marshall, and I'll explain that to you later. Of course, the whammy pedal, use that for one song, just for Revelation. And then the mysterious pedal, if we can go back here, Ben Fargen built that for us, and that allows me to access the Digitech 33B, which is a funky old rack effect I can show you later, but I need that to play the song Why. But you definitely don't want to be plugged into that thing when you're not playing that song, because it's a funky old piece of gear. So we use Ben's True Bypass box to get us out of the signal. And that's pretty much it. It's actually a very minimal pedal board because a lot of the stuff I only use for 1 or 2 songs. It's not the kind of thing where you play it, except for the wah-wah. That gets most of the work and the delays. Next, we're going to go and take a look at those amps. One last thing before we look at the Marshall heads is the secret and mysterious Digitech 33B. these things were called super harmony machines, and they actually have this one program in here that, well, actually they got two programs that I really like. One was sort of like a self-tuning feature that I used on the song Down, Down, Down many years ago. But the other thing that's really cool is that it provides this very interesting E minor chord harmony that we use on the melodies for the song Why. And for some reason I decided to save that patch as number 72. I don't know why. There's two of them here. Big thanks to Kirkwood Ruff back in San Francisco for fixing them, because when these things break they can't do anything. But Kirkwood got them working again. And this is where they reside, behind the Marshall cabinets here, backstage, away from vibration and all that kind of stuff. And but I'll tell you what, let's go to the front of those Marshall heads so I can show you what they look like. All right, here we are at the power station. This is right here where all the sound's coming out. The most important button though is the one that says yes. This is Mike's way of reminding me to hit this button, not this button. Hence, yes, no, yes, no. Remember that. You'll see that later on in the show. Anyway, these heads here are JVM 410s, but they're not. They're modified JVM 410s, modified by Marshall engineer Santiago Alvarez, a brilliant engineer and guitar player in his own right, and he's made my version of these 410s so punchy and full sounding, it's really amazing. But we've kept the basic idea that you've got 4 channels, 3 modes for each channel. We've got a noise gate going for each channel, and we've adjusted the resonance and the presence controls, all to make the thing really scream, be very full sounding. And generally what I do is I run it right into a 1960 bottom, and I've got one head that I use for the show. I've got another head right over here that's set up exactly the same, and it's just sitting here waiting, just in case I do something silly to piss off this head and it wants to stop working. And then we've got another one over here. This is generally for guests. Mr. Petrucci is going to be joining us in New York City in a couple of days, so this is what he's going to be playing through. That's going to be great to hear him play through that. And I've been loving these things. So I've been working with them for over a year. We had them in the studio, and we've had them out on tour for the last, what, 8, 9, 10 weeks, and in Europe and here in the US, and they sound fantastic, really huge. And I'm going to plug in and show you what they sound like. Wait right there. Now that goes, right? I'm using this channel here, no noise gate, so you can hear a little bit of edge for that. Sometimes make it a little skinny sounding. Just like that. And for some high gain stuff, I've got a little bit more open, a little bit more saturated, if I may use that tone, for this guy. Try that at home, kids. And let's see what else I got for you. I got one of these here. This is kind of a nice tone here. How about this now? This is the 33B. It's got a cool tone. Glorious! It just sounds beautiful. And then of course, the wah-wah. For a deeper tone, we've got Except, there's one last thing, a very important part of the show, and the little secret that people don't know about. This is the harp I use for Big Bad Moon, and we've got a little slide bar on the back there. So after I'm done with the, you know, that, and then I launch into this. I don't know if that's the setting I use, but anyway, it's crazy trying to play slide like this because you can't get your finger behind the slide, which is essential for good slide playing. So it's more showbiz than technique, let's put it that way anyway. And this is this little tray here. This is the invention of Mike Manning. So no matter what happens, Joe cannot screw that up. You see it just afterwards, that's right there. And that's it! Kids, tune into MusicRadar every day.